What's going on everyone, how you doing today? It's Singer Roleplay once again, and today I want to show you the kind of explanation in depth video about the difference between the Istvan's Blades Whirlwind Wrath of the Waste build and the Bul-Kathos version, which is the older version of the Whirlwind Wrath of the Waste build. And first of all, why the Istvan's Blades version of the Whirlwind became so popular in the leaderboards for the last year. People realized a couple of things. First of all, Istvan's Blades is actually the sword, and it simply attacks faster, it does more attacks per second. If you take a look here, the sword does 1.4 attacks per second, and the mighty weapon, which is the Bul-Kathos, is 1.3, so basically it simply does more attacks per second. And another reason is the two-piece bonus that the Istvan's Blades provide. You see, every time you spend primary resource, gain 6% increase attack speed, damage, and armor for 5 seconds. It stacks up to 5 times. So, at 5 stacks, we gain 30% more attack speed, damage, and armor. And while armor and attack speed are additive, the damage is an effective multiplier to the damage. And the old version of the Bul-Kathos, which is on 2.6, it has 30% increased attack speed, while Istvans have 30% attack speed, damage, and armor. And while attack speed is basically the same shit, pretty much close, the damage beats Bul-Kathos by a huge margin, especially on single target. And the reason why people started playing Istvans is because it attacks pretty much with the same speed, but simply does more damage and also provides an armor as well. This is one of the main reasons. But not only this. In the newer patch, which is 2.6.1, Bul-Kathos weapons have been buffed. And they generate more fury now. It increases the fury generation by 15. This is up from 10 fury. And during Whirlwind, we gain 45% increased attack speed and movement speed. Now, this is the main difference between the Istvans and the Bul-Kathos. First of all, the main difference, which was before and it still is the attack speed on the Bul-Kathos is multiplier. It's not additive, unlike on the Istvans. Potentially, it means that Bul-Kathos kind of catches up with the buffed Istvans in huge density, especially when we have a lot of pain enhancer stacks. Basically, Istvans just catches up on Bul-Kathos basically catches up on Istvans. Istvans have multiplier on damage, but its attack speed is additive. Bul-Kathos has no fucking multiplier to damage, but it has a multiplicative attack speed, which also has been buffed by 15%. It's now 45, which is absolutely massive. And even though Istvan is a sword and by default it attacks faster, Bul-Kathos is a bit slower, but this multiplier of attack speed makes it almost equally as fast as the Istvans and do the same fucking amount of damage. This is it. And this recent buff of the Bul-Kathos pretty much equalized the two setups of Whirlwind. To be honest, I cleared Great Rave 98 with both setups and I felt like it's almost equal in terms of damage. Bul-Kathos performs a little better in density, and of course Istvans absolutely kills single target much faster than the Bul-Kathos, simply because it still has this 30% damage multiplier, and single target is the problem of Whirlwind. This is where Istvans is really strong. Now, what are the more difference between the Istvan's Whirlwind and the Bul-Kathos Whirlwind? First of all, with the buffed Bul-Kathos now, we can absolutely drop Weapon Master passive if we don't have Weapon Master here at all. In the past, we had to use it. Now it's absolutely pointless. So now we go go just all guns blazing. We use all passives like the Berserker Rage, Rampage, Brawler, and all that shit. Ruthless, basically everything. We can use everything, every DPS passive. Another important thing is that let me equip my Bul-Kathos here. So, with the Bul-Kathos setup, we use the physical room, which is the blood funnel, and basically critical hits restore 1% of a maximum life, and the more life we have, the more life we actually restore with critical hit. And another thing is, in the physical version with the Bul-Kathos swords, we also have the bloodshed bottle rage. We can drop ignorant swords of Parshas, and we can go bloodshed. Bloodshed is a massive amount of damage actually. Another big difference between the Bul-Kathos version of the build and the Istvan's is that multiplied attack speed that Bul-Kathos provides cools down Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, and as a result cools down the Wrath of the Berserk and all the skills much faster. Basically this attack speed kind of catches up and absolutely, out cools down the Istvan's Pair Blades. Istvan's has pretty slow, Istvan's also had no movement speed. I forgot to mention that Bul-Kathos has been buffed movement speed as well. Look at this. During Whirlwind we have 45% increased attack speed as well as movement speed. And even though movement speed doesn't really have any kind of big impact on the ticks or on the tick rate of the Whirlwind, it's still movement speed, and it results in better escapes from the arcanes, better movement across the frozen fields or something like that. So Istvan's feels like it's much slower. It's like a fucking turtle speed now compared to the Bul-Kathos, but Istvan is still it's harder. It still hits hard. And when you play Istvan's, you literally feel just how hard it hits single target, just how fast it kills elites that are lonely and which are very hard to kill with the Bul-Kathos. Bul-Kathos absolutely catches up on density, it just melts fucking density. And also the cooldowns can be much faster with the Bul-Kathos sword, simply because we get massive amount of attack speed and massive attack speed with the pinning heads. Absolutely beats the crap out of Istvan's, and our cooldowns become extremely fast. And recent calculations show that we can even now drop this 10% cooldown on the both of the Bul-Kathos, Solemn Bone and Warrior's Blood, and just get attack speed here. And we basically will have the same amount of cooldown and we have permanent uptime of Wrath the Berserker. This, if we get 2 attack speed here, basically this is completely equalizes the damage between the Istvan's and the Bul-Kathos. So my prognosis is that in the upcoming patch, both setups will be absolutely viable, and Bul-Kathos might actually be back as the top 1 Whirlwind setup, simply because the mighty weapons are much more affordable and much cheaper to get, and much less rare, much less rare than the Istvan's Pearl Blades. Pearl Blades are very rare still. Even after all these years, they're exceptionally hard to get with the good rolls, while the mighty weapons can be upgraded easily, and basically they can be acquired much easier. And with the almost equal amount of damage that the buff Bul-Kathos provides, I honestly think that Bul-Kathos might be a return in the Whirlwind spec. So this is it, guys, and one last thing that I want to mention is the difference of the runes between the Bul-Kathos and the Istvan's. Like I said, we use physical runes with the Bul-Kathos, and basically with Istvan's Pearl Blades we have to use the lightning rune. We tried to use the physical rune in the past, but it's so much pain to keep your fury levels up, so eventually people completely gave up on the physical rune and just decided to go with the lightning rune, simply because it generates fury, and at huge density it's basically the pain-free, pain-in-the-ass free gameplay that lightning fury provides. However, lightning rune does not provide any kind of healing for us, unlike the blood funnel. So in the Istvan's Pearl Blades we have to heal through the battle rage. Bloodshed will also drop our damage, because we do not use bloodshed, but with swords of the plowshares. We have to use swords of the plowshares for a source of healing instead of blood funnel, and so potentially dropping bloodshed can also hit the Istvan's pretty hard, simply because Bul-Kathos catches up now with the increased attack speed. This is it, thanks for watching, and I hope you understood something from my blabbering. Thanks for watching and see you soon.